Everyone, good morning, good morning, good morning. 10 o'clock on July 6th, and let's give it a couple minutes, and we'll start the meditation then, okay? Thanks so much for joining this morning. Thank you. And good morning to those of you joining this morning on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining this morning. Let's give it another minute, and we'll start the meditation, okay? All right, thank you. All right, 10:02. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, hopefully, I won't lose you today. I didn't recognize that the video had cut out probably about 5 minutes into the meditation, and I meditated for another 40 minutes beyond that, I suppose, before I recognized I got a tap by spirit in my ears a couple times yesterday, and I didn't know what it was about, but I have a feeling one of them was to open your eyes, Brett. You've lost your video feed. But in any case, all is well. Thanks for joining this morning, and let's meditate. And just allowing your body to completely relax in whatever you're sitting or lying on. Just letting go of any stress that you've got going on, any worries. Honestly, you can worry anytime you want. You can get stressed anytime you want. But for this time, for this meditation, let's just be here in this moment. Let's let go of any resistance to life. Not just, again, just for this meditation, let go of your need for anyone or anything needing to be any different than what it is. Even yourself, nothing, just let go of your need to fix or change or heal or grow, and just be. Just be. We're so caught in our person sometimes that we think, well, I can't be happy, or I can't be at peace, I can't be in love, I can't connect with God until something else happens. But to be honest with you, that is an illusion. You literally, the truth of who you are is already those things, is already peace, joy, love, and one with God. But I'm inviting you right now just to let go of any judgment or blame you have of yourself. Just let go of all the past and let go of all the worries of the future, and just be here in this moment. Just be here in this moment, and just taking a nice deep breath in, and then just emptying out and letting go. And there's nowhere you need to go. There's nothing you need to do other than be here now. And my puppy agrees, if you can hear her in the background. She affirmed that truth. I I'm noticing sometimes when I get passionate about what I'm speaking about, and that's fine. But with that said, somebody said something to me yesterday about Dr. Joe Dispenza. If any of you have listened to him, an awakened teacher who many people resonate with. It comes almost more from a scientific point of view and how he explains things. He doesn't fully resonate with me, but my wife and many other people I know have listened to him. But as my friend was describing him yesterday, she said that he speaks very slowly to try to create more of a slower cadence within. And I do recognize the wisdom in that, of just allowing everything to slow down, allowing your breath to slow down, allowing your mind to slow down, just not needing to hurry or rush through things. We've been very, very exposed to this urgency and immediacy of so many things, of eating. We have microwaves, and now we have the air fryers that cook things up really quite nicely and more quickly than regular food. And I'm not going to lie, I love it. Because sometimes I'm not patient enough to cook the food, or I don't start the food in time. Part of it is because I still do my intermittent fasting and I eat 1 or 2 meals a day. And so particularly when I'm eating one meal, I want the food and I want it now. I want it now. But it's so true with so many things we do. We just, with the internet, we like it faster and we get our answers faster, and we're able to just do everything faster than we used to. But does faster add a better quality of life? And some might say, or the mind might say, well, if I grow, if I am able to grow faster and heal faster, then yes, it does. But who is doing the growing and the healing? Who is doing the growing and the healing? When we look at our egoic self, and I don't mean ego from a point of arrogance, that can be part of it, but I just mean from the point of view of seeing our person, which is that idea of who we think we are, all the stories that we've accumulated of who we think we are, that person, the mind judges our person as being not enough, or insufficient, insecure, not loving enough, not kind enough, not compassionate enough, always wanting more and never being enough. And so I just want to offer to you right now, who is the witness to those thoughts? Who is the witness to those beliefs? Because when you start getting in touch with the witness to those things, you see there's nothing to heal, there's nothing to fix, there's nothing to grow. And that's why, Eckhart Tolle, his main thrust, his main focus, his main thread is always coming back to the now, coming back to the present moment. Why is that? What is the present moment? The present moment is, of course, letting go of the past. It's also, of course, letting go of the future, but it's also not being resistant to this moment in any way. And when we're not resistant to this moment, when we're not fighting this moment, we're not, in other words, we're not fighting life. Life brings us a situation which always arrives in the present moment, So life gives us an experience that's the present moment. And if we reject the present moment, if we don't like it, if we're fighting against it and we're wanting it to be different than what it is, then we immediately take ourselves out of the present moment and we hook into something of the past or perhaps a worry or fear of the future. And so in that, immediately we start suffering right there. So to say, to come back to the present moment, it's coming back to a surrendered state, a surrendered state to the moment. So the moment presents itself, and based on being surrendered to whatever is unfolding in that moment, to flow with life, to flow with God, we can experience the peace and truth of who we are. And no, you didn't, you lose the video feed. Actually, I had to open my eyes on that to make sure that was true, because yesterday the video feed stopped. But I just want to just allow some silence and some space in here right now. And just allowing silence and space in our life helps also to return us home to who we are. And what do we mean by silence and space? If you think of the mind being busy with, depending on the study, 60,000 to 120,000 thoughts a day, then seldom do we have an opportunity to just connect with the stillness. That is, to connect with that space in between the thoughts. Because there quite oftentimes isn't space in between the thoughts, because our mind is the, as the Buddhists call, the chattering monkey, always saying something. And if you figure it out, which I have on a calculator, 60,000 to 120,000 thoughts a day, literally a thought going off every second, and some and more possibly. How do you experience the truth of who you are? There's a verse in the Bible, one of my favorite, that simply says, "Be still and know that I am God." And to just extrapolate that phrase for just that verse for just a moment, "Be still and know that I am God," is when your thoughts fall to the wayside and you're not looking to your mind for solutions to problems. You're not using the mind for your solutions. You're allowing the solution to present itself when life and God give it to you. But quite oftentimes, because our mind wants life to show up in a certain way, then consequently our mind gets busy trying to figure out how we can control and manipulate life to get it to show up in a certain way. Please hear those words. When you have a perceived problem, in other words, your mind thinks that life should be different than what it is. In other words, we've rejected the present moment. We're not flowing with it. And the mind says, no, I don't want it that way. I need life to be this way. So then we turn to the mind and then we say, okay, meaning believing that we're the mind and the thoughts, I'm going to figure this out in a way that I can come back to what I think happiness is. What I think happiness is. Because the mind only has a concept, an idea what happiness is, right? Because true happiness is not some kind of concept or belief. True joy is when we let go of our concepts, beliefs, and labels, and there's just a pure beingness, a pure isness of who we are. I don't want you to just believe that, though. That's not enough, because I've described something in words, and I've described something else that is just another belief and concept until you have a direct experience, you have an awareness of that truth. You know, the truth is that it's not enough for any teacher to just give you another belief. You know, you could tell people, well, you are love, you are whole, you are complete, you are one with God, you are pure joy, you are truth. You know, da 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 da. Anyone, and it can be an awakened teacher, it can be, you know, a book that's channeled with God, or it can be whatever. But until it moves past a belief, and beliefs are good, you know, there's certain beliefs that support you along the way. You know, the belief that God is on your side, you know, some of that takes trust and faith. But ultimately, even transcending all your beliefs, so that you've transcended the mind and the busyness of the mind, and you come back to what we were talking about, the stillness and the silence, because you're not looking to the mind for the solutions, you're not looking to your mind for happiness, but you just accept that, and have trust and faith that life and God are on your side, and the answer will be provided exactly when it needs to be provided. But just explore with that. See if what I'm saying is true. And when we stop looking to the mind for the solutions and the answers, we find that more and more stillness begins to fall upon us, where we have time to just be in the stillness, be in the silence, where the mind is quieted. But you don't get there by trying to still the mind, because the act of trying to still the mind gets the mind busy. Because how do you try to do something? Either you know how to do it or you don't. If you know how to do it, then you will just do it. If you don't, then the next step is people look to the mind and they try to do it. So by trying to still the mind, you are actually getting the mind busy by trying to figure out how to still the mind. And the very act of that gets the mind busy. Please see that. Please see that, because I'm just simply offering you a different way of looking at your life, so that you're not turning to your mind for everything that is the very thing that's creating all your problems. When you turn to your mind for the solutions, when you turn to your mind to try and figure out how to be happy, when you turn to your mind to just simply try to control or manipulate the life the way the mind is telling you it needs to be. But the mind can never fully recognize the truth of who you are and the happiness that you already are, because that logically doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense to the mind is that it must fit in this box called logic, that the mind can analyze, the mind can understand, the mind can comprehend. That's why you hear me quite often refer to the verse in the Bible by the Apostle Paul that speaks of the peace that passeth all understanding. And I want to say this again because I feel this is so important. The peace that passeth all understanding. In other words, it's a peace that goes beyond understanding, goes beyond the comprehension of the mind, because it's not logical. It's silent, it's still, it's quiet. And the mind does not understand that. It cannot comprehend that. And nor can the mind ever comprehend what true joy is. The only thing the mind can do is have an idea of what it thinks happiness is. And I want to say that again. The mind can only ever have an idea or concept of what it thinks happiness is. Let's explore that a little, because the mind judges, right? The mind judges, this is good and this is bad. Therefore, if you do this thing, you're a bad person. If you do this thing, you're a good person. But what happens when you do something that the mind judges as bad? It says you're bad. What happens if you do something that it says is good? It says you're good. What happens when somebody else doesn't do something that matches what the mind's expectations are? Then it judges that person as bad, and you're right back into judgment, of which the mind says is bad. You can't win. If you're doing good, temporarily you might experience some joy. But eventually you will fall short of the mind's expectations. True or not? Just see for yourself. Who is it that's telling you you're not enough? Who is it that's telling you you need to be more loving? Who is it that's telling you you need to be more patient, more kind? You need to connect with God. But it's all out of beliefs and ideas. The mind doesn't know how to connect with God. The mind it's not, it's just a program. And it doesn't recognize how to move beyond the computer of the head. It's all based on bits, all based on logic. That's the only way a computer can be programmed, right? It's a series of dots, just a series of bits. And it all is based on logic. And there's the term you probably heard before, garbage in, garbage out. So if you're putting garbage into your computer, then garbage will come out of your computer. If you're putting good in your computer, good will come out of the computer. It can only recognize good in its limited perspective and logic of what good means, right? Nobody has learned, well, I don't know if this is fully true with androids these days, AIs, even if they program it to so-called have an emotional experience, even that is perceived and has to be written in a computer language that makes sense of logically of what an emotion means, because you have to put it in some kind of description, some kind of label, that love means this is good, joy means good. And so again, we have to somehow inject into the computer, insert into the computer what is perceived as good and bad. So we're still caught in the perception. We're still caught in the logic of what we would describe as good or bad. So right now, I'm inviting you to let go of all your judgments of what is good or bad. Let go of all your thoughts, all your beliefs. Now, I'm going to invite you to let go of some other things, but I just want to say, why do I invite you to let go of all of this? Because the only way you're going to recognize the truth that you already are is to go beyond all the judgments of the mind and to actually go beyond the mind, transcend the mind that is caught in only logic, which can be good at times, but not when you're looking to the mind for all the answers, not when you're looking to the mind for happiness, not when you're looking to the mind for all your needs, of which the mind cannot provide. So I'm inviting you right now to let go of all your past that contains all your shame, which is rooted in duality of good and bad. And of course, that's the bad. Let go of all your guilt, which is rooted in duality of the mind, which has this is good, this is bad. And of course, the guilt is the bad. And the same thing with blame. Let go of all your blame. These are the first three chakras: shame, guilt, and blame. I'm inviting you right now to let go of all the past. I'm inviting you to let yourself off the hook for everything that has ever happened, because you have simply been a victim of the mind. You have been caught in the illusion of life, of who you think you are, who your mind has convinced you are, which we call the person. The person is all these stories from the past that we have accumulated when the mind told us in this situation we handled it well, therefore we get a gold star, you're good in this area, but you failed in this area. And most of it is failings. Most of it can never satisfy the mind to the degree the mind is telling you you should function. But are you even a function? Where do these thoughts come from? And if we look at our feelings, even, where do the feelings come from? If you're listening to the mind and you're believing what the mind is saying is true, that you're not enough, just as one small example of all the diminishing thoughts the mind pours upon you, because it's mostly negative, right? So when you're listening to these thoughts and you believe the thought that you're not enough, that's when the feeling comes in. The feeling comes in when you're believing something about the thought. It could be if it's a perceived good thought, then you will have a perceived good feeling. If it's a perceived bad thought, then you will have a bad feeling. But meanwhile, you have the opportunity to be a witness to the thoughts, recognizing that it is just the mind being busy and that you don't have to believe the thoughts. I know that you know, if you're listening to this meditation, you're at the point, I know you recognize that the thought that you are not enough is false. How do you know that's false? Who is the one that is aware of that thought? Who is the one that even is aware and can recognize that that thought is not true? And also, so now you believe the thought and you're feeling sad or disappointed, maybe angry or frustrated. Who is the one that is aware of that feeling? We get so caught up thinking we are our thoughts, we believe them. And then we have the feelings and we believe the feelings. And then we get pulled into the drama of life, all because we're listening to the mind as if it's the truth of who we are. But your thoughts and your feelings all come and go. True? They're always coming and going. If you are those thoughts, if you are those feelings, then you must be the one that is constantly coming and going. Oh, he's here, he's not here. He's here, he's not here. Is that true? Meanwhile, the one who is a witness to the thoughts coming and going, the one who is a witness to the feelings that are coming and going, who is that? Because if you are the thoughts and the feelings that come and go, who is the one that is a witness to those? I know I say this a lot. It just comes through. I can't help it. I don't want to help it. I don't know why it comes through over and over, because maybe there's not just the words, maybe there's a vibration. There's a certain conviction in my voice that changes vibrationally, that we're a part of, to recognize that this truth is here to awaken us and help us to move beyond the belief that we are our thoughts, the belief that we are our feelings, and of course, the belief that we are anything physical. Because, like the thoughts, like the feelings, the mind will someday pass and the body will someday pass. Is there something? Is this one who is a witness to the thoughts and the feelings, and a witness to your body, and a witness to your physical mind? Is it possible that this one is eternal? Does your soul come to an end when the body does? And I'm not talking about a belief. No, just let that go. Just let that go. Just throw that out the door, at least for this time being, right? At least for this meditation. Just let go of the belief that your soul is timeless or eternal, because I don't want you to come from a place of belief. Again, beliefs can be supportive in different ways, but I'm wanting to take you a step further, and that is to have a direct knowing, a direct seeing that you are indeed timeless. Because right now, in this moment, how do you know you're here? You recognize you are here. There's something about you that is aware. You are conscious and aware that you are here. Does that conscious awareness need anything physical to recognize that you are here? Just look. Just look. Not from physical eyes, but from your spiritual eyes. Is there something that recognizes, that is conscious and aware that you are here, that doesn't require anything physical? Do you have to have a body to recognize that you are here? Even a baby that doesn't have the so-called mental intelligence or the mental knowledge recognizes that it exists. It doesn't take anything physical whatsoever to recognize that you are here. You recognize you are conscious and aware of your thoughts, you're conscious and aware of your feelings, and you are conscious and aware of your mind. You are conscious and aware of your body. And it doesn't take anything physical to be aware of that. Can you see this for yourself? And I want to say this to you. There is something here. There's something here that is a possibility, for you to wake up to the truth of who you are. What do we mean when we say to wake up or to awaken to the truth of who you are? Awakening is when your conscious awareness is able to witness and discern the thoughts and the mind, and to recognize that you are not that. That is what awakening is. It's when you awaken to the truth that you are not your thoughts and your mind. You are a witness to that. That's what awakening is. And when you awaken to the truth of who you are, that is to recognize that you are not your thoughts, you're not your mind. When you awaken to that truth, everything gets easier. Everything. Because when you have the thought to say, oh, that was so stupid, and then you recognize in that moment, who said that? Who just said that was stupid? Was that me? Because if it was me, then who is the one that is a witness to that thought, a witness to that belief? I can't believe how this day is going. This day fucking sucks. I can't stand it. Can you catch yourself in that moment and just recognize that is the mind, that is the thought, who is a witness to that? Man, my life just feels, I feel so unfulfilled. I'm so bored with life. There's got to be something more to this. Who is the one that is saying that? Is that your mind, or is that the truth of who you are? The witness, the truth of who you are, is a witness to that thought and a witness to that belief, a witness to that feeling. I hope you are seeing this. This is a key to self-realization. It's the beginning by becoming aware of yourself, your true self. Self-realization is to realize something, is to not just believe it, not just even know it, but to fully realize it means that you have actually moved beyond the knowing and actually into the manifestation of that truth. So you can believe you're abundant, which is good, but then you can know you're abundant, which is even better because there's a knowingness within you. But to realize it is to manifest full abundance in your life. So to fully self-realize means to fully manifest your true self. And then you look from those eyes of awareness as the witness, as Ram Dass called it, loving conscious awareness. When you are rooted in the truth of who you are as loving conscious awareness, you can be a witness to all the nonsense and craziness of the mind. Can you see that? Can you see that all these thoughts that you have bought into as to who you think you are has been this grand illusion, and it doesn't matter. It's perfect. It's perfect because that is the play of life. That is the game of life. And when you, I want to say, to win the game of life, I don't know if those are the right words, is to be a witness to those illusions. So there's nothing wrong with the illusions. There's nothing wrong with the judgments. There's nothing wrong with the blame. There's nothing wrong with all the negativity of the mind. if you can simply be a witness to those, a conscious witness, and recognize that that is illusion and that is not the truth of who you are, then not only is peace possible, that's all that's left is peace. Because if stress is wanting life to be different than what it is, peace is fully accepting life as it is. So when you are a witness to all the craziness and recognize that you are not that craziness, the only thing left is peace. Do you see that? The only, when you are a witness to all the negativity, all the judgment, all the blame, all the hatred, all the anger, when you can simply be a witness to that, it doesn't matter what your mind says, thinks, or feels. You are the one who is witnessing that, and nothing is left except for peace. And when you are flowing with life and you're not wanting life to be any different than what it is, that is where you begin to feel the gratitude and the love and the joy, because that's all that's left. And Spirit just tapped me a little bit ago in my ear, 15, 20 seconds ago. And I feel that they're trying to catch my attention. I oftentimes speak of the truth of who you are as being peace, joy, and love. My person says, my person, this idea of who I think I am, says, well, I recognize that I'm peace, because when I'm flowing with life and that's all there is, then that's all that can be left is peace, because there's nothing I'm fighting against, there's nothing resisting. So that's all there can be is peace. But I still haven't discovered joy or love. That's what my mind tells me. But I am a witness to that as well. Who is saying those things? Now, as a witness to that, there's still that part, that the mind that says, well, yeah, but it still feels like something is missing. Can I be a witness to that? And yet, even as a witness to that, I still feel like, and I say the I, my mind is speaking, that one that I'm identifying with as if it's the truth of who I am, is saying, yeah, but I hear you and I see what you're saying, but there's still something missing. And there's a part of me that is blocked from being able to go beyond that. Now, I recognize that as a thought. Honestly, I'm going to say the I, as my mind says, I don't know how to move beyond that. So right now, I'm giving that over to God. I'm also going to invite in one of my teachers, Muji, and just say, I don't get it. I don't get it. How can, what is missing? What is missing? Because I feel, I understand the aspect of peace, but I know I'm still carrying certain beliefs that I'm identifying with as the truth of who I am, that is blocking me from fully recognizing, fully realizing the truth of who I am. Because if I did fully realize the truth of who I am, my judgment is I would be experiencing joy and love and of course peace and God. And I don't feel like I'm experiencing those. And I don't know if there will be something presented to me, something presented to you, something presented to all of us. I don't know. What I do know is I just want to give this all over to God right now and recognize that there's that part of me is like, oh man, I just want to know what the truth is. I just want to be at peace. I just want to fully realize who I am. I want to experience the bliss of God, and I don't know how to get there. And there's that part of me that I'm noticing that is believing the frustration that's coming along with that and the disappointment. So what do I do with that? I recognize it. I don't push it away. I don't make it bad or wrong. And I just say, thank you, Father. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know there is something here for me, and I can't see it at this point, but I know that you will give it to me in right and divine timing. But thank you, because I know you are on my side. I do have that trust and faith that you are on my side. And I don't know why I'm still in this, because there's obviously something I'm not getting, and it's okay. It's okay. And by accepting this, there can still be peace in this moment. And I don't know about you, but I find all of this very beautiful. I find it very beautiful. I wish I could tell you, my mind says this. I wish I could tell you I had some kind of answer and solution. And I'm just going to notice that for myself. That strong desire I have to be free of my mind, be free from the illusion, and to just be rooted in that core truth of who I am. I recognize that. And I choose that. I choose to be totally free. I choose to be one with God, to be one with life. I choose the bliss of God. And that is enough. And life and God will continue to bring forth teachings to me to help me to recognize, to help me to realize those thoughts and beliefs that stand in the way of that truth. And it will come forth in a way that might feel difficult or challenging or maybe upsetting or disturbing. Why? Is it because God is bringing me something disturbing? No, it's not. It's because God is bringing something to me that I feel disturbed by, because there is some kind of resistance, some kind of belief that I'm holding on to. At the very core, by the way, is a fear. And as A Course in Miracles says, there's either fear or love. So anytime you have some kind of negative emotion, if you look close enough, and I'm not a big fan of analyzing or doing all that stuff. It just doesn't resonate with me. It may be resonant with you, but it's not with me. So, but at the very core of any challenge that we're having, there is a fear at the very core of it. And so God is simply bringing us an experience, and we're feeling the trauma, the challenge, the frustration, the stress, the suffering of it, because it is something, some kind of fear that we're afraid to face. And we're afraid to let go of something, because if we do, then it might mean we're going to lose a loved one. If we do, it might mean that we might die. If we do, it might mean that I have to give up something that I have an attachment to having. Man, the words coming through today to me are very beautiful and very powerful. And I'm hearing things that is just different than what it is. And to be honest with you, I know I'm not the same person. I'm changing every day, as I know you are. And I say not the same person, you know, the core truth of who we are is absolute and never changes, because it is in the oneness of God, and we are already whole and complete. It is only our person, as we raise the vibration of our person, eventually it merges back into the oneness of who we already are. And so much of this teaching is just about offering direction to help you to see that truth. So, a lot of words today, and that's okay. In fact, it's been good. But right now, I just invite you just to come back to the present moment. Just come back to being aware of your breath. Just noticing the breath. Noticing how it happens all by itself. There's no trying, there's no effort, which is the beauty of the breath. You can literally just be aware. Be aware. So, the very awareness of your breath brings you back to the beingness of who you are, not the doingness of who you are, not the one who is trying and putting forth effort, which is your person. No, it brings you back to the beingness of who you are, which is that core truth of who you are, the one who is simply witnessing. That's all. Witnessing your thoughts, your feelings, your body, your actions. And as a witness, you are able to rest in the pure beingness of who you are. And let's just practice that right now. And if your mind gets busy, simply notice that, be aware of it, and come back to just sitting in the awareness of all of it. And if your mind has gotten busy, perfect. You never need to try to still your mind. And you don't need to try to have a good meditation. You don't need to try to have a profound experience. None of the trying is necessary. You don't need to try to use energy work or enhance this meditation in any way. No trying is necessary. You are simply a witness to the trying. You're a witness to the thoughts. You're a witness to the feelings. You're a witness to the body. And as soon as you recognize that you have strayed from the pure beingness of who you are, just simply come back to the present moment and just simply be aware of your breath. Just be aware of the breath. And if your mind has drifted, simply coming back to the present moment. And I want to just share one other thing that I feel is important. When our mind has certain attachments to how it thinks life should look, those are the very things that are causing stress in your life. And as you heard, I have an attachment to awaken to who I am. But peace is still possible by noticing and being a witness to the attachment, and to recognize that this too shall pass. This is just where I'm at in this moment, and it's okay. I can still be at peace with my mind wanting things to be different than what they are. So that is true surrender, when we can notice our attachments as to how we want, the mind wants life to look, and simply being aware of that without needing to fix or change it or fight against it. Just simply be a witness to it. And it's 10:59 right now. So I'm going to begin to bring the meditation to completion. I recognize you didn't get a lot of silent meditation in, so if you want to continue meditating, please mute or turn your device off. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me. And for those of you who are ready to finish, just taking in a nice deep breath, energizing, filling up your lungs, bringing energy into this physical form that gets you around, stretching, moving around. And taking your time, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. And let me just take a look here. I'm still sorting through. Let's see. I don't know if I know this chat on Restream that I use. I know it picks up YouTube, but I don't think it picks up on Facebook. So I'm going to see about going over into Facebook and picks up YouTube, but I. There we go. So Nancy Gibney. Hi, Nancy. Thanks so much for joining this morning. Nice to have you here. And whoops, let's see. Michelle, just wow. Okay, good, Michelle. I'm glad you resonated with it. I thought of some beautiful words coming through today. I was really happy for myself personally. Yeah, I was touched by it, so I'm glad it resonated with you as well. And let's see. And I'll go over to YouTube. Oh, Sandy, very nice. Good, Sandy. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining, Sandy. Thank you. Thank you. And I see somebody else, I think, popped in on Facebook. So I want to say if any of you caught this late, I thought that this was a very powerful meditation. So if you didn't catch it all, go back and listen to the whole thing because some really good words I thought came through. And yeah, I just feel grateful for it. So anyhow, that's it. Today's Tuesday, so no meditation tomorrow. I will be back meditating 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. Again, as a reminder, my retreat, August 27th through Sunday at noon, August 29th. It will be a beautiful weekend. In fact, I have a friend of mine that has been my medical intuitive, my mentor for many years. Laura and I went over to have dinner with him and his wife. They've been good friends of ours for, almost 30 years now. And I said, hey, do you have some people that might be interested in my retreat? And I handed him the flyer, and he said, ooh, he said, this feels very special, very special. So, and that's how I feel. So if you can make it, I feel like, without sounding like I'm just trying to market myself, I can only speak from my truth. There's just something that just feels really good and right about it. And so if you can be a part of it, I think it's going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend. So, okay, enough words. And Sandy, you said thank you. You're welcome, my friend. Thanks for joining. So, love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and I will speak with you soon. Okay, namaste.